Maya's eyes fluttered open, the sterile white ceiling blurring into focus. A dull ache throbbed behind her temples, each pulse sensing with the faint beeping of machines beside her bed. She blinked again, trying to push away the fog clouding her mind, but the harder she tried, the more the emptiness settled. Where am I? Who am I? Her hands trembled as they lay on the crisp hospital sheets, pale and unfamiliar. She wanted to speak, to ask someone anything, but the words refused to come. A soft knock pulled her attention to the door, which creaked open slowly. A man stepped in. Mid-30s, dark hair slightly tousled. His eyes were sharp yet gentle, carrying a familiarity that unsettled her. "Hey," he said quietly, taking a cautious step forward. "You're awake." "That's good." Maya's gaze locked on him, searching, desperate for recognition, but found only a stranger's face. "Am Maya," she whispered, her voice cracked, uncertain. He smiled faintly. "I know. I'm Noah." Noah. The name lingered in the air, but it meant nothing to her. "You don't remember, do you?" he asked, a flicker of pain behind his eyes. She shook her head slowly. "I don't remember anything." Noah pulled up a chair beside her bed and sat down, folding his hands tightly. "You were in a bad accident. It was touch and go for a while." Her heart raced. The room felt colder. "What happened to me?" He hesitated, then said, "You hit your head pretty hard. You lost your memory. It's called retrograde amnesia. You might not remember me or anything else from before." A hollow emptiness swallowed her chest. She wanted to scream, to demand answers, but the silence held her captive. Noah reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small folded note, placing it gently on the blanket. "Someone left this for you," he said softly. "It was found in your bag." Maya unfolded the note with trembling fingers. The handwriting was neat but urgent. "Maya, you're stronger than you know. Don't trust everyone. Find the truth before it finds you." Her eyes darted back to Noah. "Who wrote this? Who can I trust?" He looked away for a moment, as if weighing his words carefully. Then he met her gaze with steady resolve. "I want to help you, but you have to be careful. Not everyone who comes near you has your best interests at heart." Maya's mind spun with questions. Why was she here? What truth did she need to find? And who was this man who claimed to know her, but felt like a stranger? Before she could ask more, a nurse entered, breaking the tense moment. "Time for your meds," she said kindly. As the nurse approached, Maya glanced back at Noah, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and hope. The road ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Her life had changed forever. And the secrets waiting to be uncovered were more dangerous than she could imagine. The days blurred together like a slow, gray storm cloud, drifting through a world that used to be hers, but felt entirely foreign. Maya stayed in the hospital for 5 more days. They ran scans, tests, and more tests, none of which told her what she really wanted to know. Who had she been before the accident? Every nurse that entered the room wore the same cautious sympathy. Their smiles never reached their eyes. Doctors talked in clinical terms. Friends or people who claimed to be friends visited and brought flowers or books Maya didn't to recognize. They recounted stories, memories, inside jokes, none of which stirred even the faintest spark of familiarity. But Noah kept returning. Sometimes he brought her coffee. Sometimes he just sat in silence. And every time, Maya felt a strange tug toward him, not romantic, not yet, but like a rope tied to something deep inside her that hadn't surfaced. "You say we were close," Maya said one morning, pushing her oatmeal around with a spoon. "But you're not family. You're not on my emergency contact list. Why are you here?" Noah exhaled, then leaned back in his chair. "We were friends, Maya, kind of." "It's complicated. Try me," she said, voice harder than she intended. He nodded, slowly. "You helped me once, a long time ago. And I promised I'd return the favor if you ever needed it. And now I need it." "You have no idea," he murmured. Maya watched him, heart tightening. "What aren't you telling me?" He hesitated. You said not to. Before the accident, she blinked. I said, what? You gave me something, a USB drive, told me not to open it unless something ever happened to you. Then a few weeks later, you crash your car under suspicious circumstances and lose your memory. The air thickened. I didn't want to believe it meant anything, he added. But now I'm not so sure. Maya's head spun. Where is it? I haven't opened it, he said. I was waiting for you to be ready. I'm ready now. Noah studied her for a moment, then nodded slowly. Okay, I'll bring it tomorrow. That night, Maya couldn't sleep. Her dreams came in fragments, flashing lights, screaming tires, a hand grabbing hers in panic. Someone whispering her name, a woman's voice, maybe her own, sobbing. She jolted awake just past 3 a.m., drenched in sweat. Beside her bed, someone had left another note. This time, the message was typed. You're being watched. Don't trust what they tell you. You already knew too much. Her breath caught in her throat. She looked toward the window, then the door. No one. The note had no name, no fingerprints. Just fear, curling at the edges like smoke. The next morning, Noah returned, holding a small black USB in his hand. They didn't speak as he plugged it into the hospital's visitor laptop. Inside was one single video file, dated 6 weeks ago. Maya's stomach twisted as she clicked play. The footage showed her sitting in a dimly lit room, looking directly into the camera, pale, anxious, determined. If you're watching this, she began, something's happened to me. Maybe I'm dead. Maybe I lost my memory. Either way, I need you to know the truth. She paused in the video, breathing hard. I found something about someone close to me. I can't say who, not yet. But if they know I'm onto them, they'll come after me. Her eyes, her own, but so different, burned with urgency. I'm not paranoid. I'm not crazy. I just need you to believe me. Whoever sees this, please don't let them bury me in silence. The video ended. Noah said nothing. Maya sat frozen. Her voice from weeks ago was like a ghost she couldn't remember. But it had already changed everything. The hospital discharged Maya 3 days after watching the video. She wasn't healed, but she was cleared. And according to the doctors, resting in a familiar environment might help her recover her memory. The problem was, nowhere felt familiar. Noah drove her to the apartment she supposedly lived in. A compact, second-story unit on a quiet street lined with trees and low-income housing. Nothing in the apartment sparked recognition. The throw pillows, the art on the walls, even the way her clothes were folded in the dresser, all felt like they belonged to someone else. She stared at her own reflection in the bathroom mirror that night, trying to find the woman in the video, the one who spoke like she was being hunted. The one who looked terrified, but resolute. What did I find? What was I trying to stop? The USB hadn't held any more files. Just the video. No names, no details. Just a cryptic warning from herself. That night, she couldn't sleep. At 2:13 a.m., her phone buzzed. An anonymous number. Unknown, check the closet in the guest room, bottom panel. Maya froze. Her fingers hovered above the reply button, but she didn't text back. Heart pounding, she stood up, crossed the cold apartment floor, and opened the spare bedroom. A plain room, desk, lamp, folded futon. She dropped to her knees and pulled out the bottom drawer of the closet. The panel inside looked loose. Her fingers pried at it, and it popped open with a dull snap. Behind it was a black leather journal. Inside were pages of notes, diagrams, receipts, surveillance-style entries. And a name that appeared again and again, Camille Breyer. The name meant nothing to Maya. But the notes told another story. Camille was at the meeting, denied knowing anything. Camille paid in cash at the Lakeside Hotel. Why? Bank transfer to Shell account traced back to Camille's husband. Cover-up, there were photos too, blurry images of a woman in dark sunglasses. One with her speaking to a man in a suit outside a building marked Vexton Biotech. Maya's fingers trembled as she flipped the pages. One entry, scribbled hastily, stood out. If anything happens to me, Camille is the reason. Do not trust her. She lied to everyone, especially me. Noah came over the next morning. She didn't wait. She shoved the journal into his hands and said, I think I was investigating something. Someone, Camille Breyer. He looked up sharply. Camille Breyer, are you serious? Why, do you know her? He nodded slowly. Not personally, but she's the CFO of Vexton Biotech. That company's been in the news, whistleblower drama, missing funds. They had some kind of internal scandal that vanished suddenly. Quiet settlements, rumors of hush money. Maya swallowed hard. Was I the whistleblower? Noah looked at her like he didn't want to say what he was thinking. Maybe, or maybe you knew the person who was. Maya sat back, her mind buzzing. Pieces were falling into place, but the picture still didn't make sense. And something else gnawed at her, the journal, the notes, the photos. It was too methodical, too much like a file. Like something an investigator would put together, and that's when it hit her. I think I was planning to go public, she whispered. Or maybe I already tried. Noah nodded, and someone wanted to stop you. Later that night, while Noah cooked pasta in her kitchen, Maya sat on the floor of her bedroom flipping through the journal again. A folded piece of paper fell out from the back cover. It was a business card. Camille Breyer, Executive Office, Vexton Biotech, and on the back, in her own handwriting, meet me at the pier, 7 p.m. Friday. Come alone, Maya's breath caught, the pier. She had no memory of going there, but the crash happened that same night, Friday, at 8:16 p.m. Had she been coming from the meeting? Or was she trying to escape from it? A sharp knock rattled the front door. She froze. Noah peeked out of the kitchen. You expecting anyone? She shook her head. Another knock, then silence. When Maya slowly opened the door, no one was there, just a box on the doorstep. Inside, wrapped in plain tissue paper, was a single item, a shattered rearview mirror. And taped to it, another typed note, you can't run from what you did. Maya stared at the shattered mirror in her lap, her fingers bleeding from the sharp edge she'd accidentally gripped too tightly. You can't run from what you did, the message echoed in her chest, rattling like broken glass inside her ribcage. She didn't remember what she'd done, or if she had done anything at all. But someone clearly believed she had, and they were watching her. Noah took the note and mirror into the kitchen and stuffed them into a sealed Ziploc bag. We need to report this. To who? Maya asked. The police. And say what? Hey, I got a mirror in a box and a creepy note, but I can't remember why I might be a target. They'll think I'm delusional. He didn't answer. That silence said everything. Over the next 2 days, things got worse. Her phone began receiving strange voicemails, recordings of static, heavy breathing, once even her own voice playing back part of the video she and Noah had watched from the USB. Once she caught someone watching her from a parked car across the street. When she stepped outside to confront them, they sped off before she got close. And then there was Camille. Maya searched online and found multiple articles, most scrubbed clean of real detail. Camille Breyer's name came up in connection with an ethics investigation at Vexton Biotech, but it had been quietly resolved. No one was ever formally charged. Every headline was the same: internal dispute at Vexton ends in settlement, no wrongdoing found. Yet deep in a forgotten Reddit thread, one anonymous user wrote, I worked at Vexton. People were silenced. I saw emails I wasn't supposed to see. There was a woman, whistleblower or investigator, I'm not sure. She disappeared. No one talks about her. She was close to something real. Maya's hands trembled as she stared at the screen. Was that her? Noah finally spoke the words she hadn't wanted to say aloud. You're being hunted, Maya. Whoever Camille really is, whoever she's protecting, they think you still know something. And if your memory comes back, that makes you dangerous. But I don't remember anything. Maya snapped. They don't know that, he said quietly. That night, Maya's nightmares returned. In her dreams, she was standing on the pier, waves crashing below, wind in her hair, facing a woman in a red coat. You should have stayed quiet, the woman whispered. Maya tried to speak, but her voice was gone. Then headlights, screeching tires, a scream. She woke up gasping, clutching her chest like it was caving in. It was the same dream, every night now, and every time it got clearer. She was there, on the pier, that night, and someone had chased her. The next morning, Maya found a message carved into her front door with something sharp. Stop digging. Noah demanded they leave town, at least temporarily. He booked them a motel under a false name 3 hours away, somewhere quiet, near a lake. You need space, he said, and time. If we keep pushing now, we'll end up pushing them right into making a move. They left before sunrise. Maya sat in the passenger seat gripping the journal and USB drive like talismans. Halfway through the drive, she broke the silence. You never told me, she said. Why you were helping me, really? Noah's hands tightened around the wheel. You said I helped you once. What did I do? He didn't answer right away. Then, you saved me. You exposed something back before any of this. Another company, another scandal. You told me the truth when no one else would. It cost you, and you did it anyway. Maya stared out the window, a lump forming in her throat. What did it cost me? He hesitated. Everything. That night in the motel, the lake shimmered in the moonlight. Maya sat on the dock, feet dangling above the water, when the memories came rushing back, not all of them, but one clear moment, the pier. The woman in the red coat, Camille. Camille had offered her a deal. Drop the files, walk away, you'll be safe. And Rich, Maya had refused, and Camille had smiled, cold and terrifying. Then I can't protect you anymore. She remembered now she had run. She had gotten in her car, panicked, crying, speeding through the dark. And someone had followed. Maya turned to Noah, eyes wide, breath shallow. I didn't just have an accident, she whispered. No, he said softly. You were run off the road. The lake lay still under the moonlight, but inside Maya, a storm churned. She stared at the water, knees pulled to her chest, every breath ragged. The memory of Camille's voice echoed in her skull, that soft threat wrapped in silk. Then I can't protect you anymore. Camille had never been her friend. She had been the mask, the handler, the smiling knife. Noah sat a few feet away on the dock, silent. He knew what she knew now, that this had never been a car crash. It had been a warning, and it had failed. The next morning, Maya made a decision. I'm not running anymore, she said flatly. Noah glanced up from the map he'd been studying. Then what? We hit back. He hesitated. How? We don't have evidence. We have scraps, journal pages, memories. I have truth, Maya said, and now I remember enough. She pulled out the journal again. Her handwriting, her research, her plans, they weren't scraps, they were a case. And there, tucked inside the back cover where she hadn't noticed before, was a key. A physical metal key taped under the last page, marked with a piece of red thread. Noah stared at it. That's a lockbox key. Safety deposit. They returned to the city under cover of night. The bank was closed by the time they arrived, so they waited in a 24-hour diner across the street. Maya barely touched her coffee. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. Whatever's in that box, she said softly. It's what I was willing to risk my life for. Noah placed a hand over hers. Then let's finish what you started. Inside the bank the next morning, the safety deposit box opened with a hollow click. Inside was a thin stack of papers, a USB drive, and an envelope addressed to the person I become if I forget. Maya's throat closed as she opened it. Inside was a letter from herself. If you're reading this, you survived. And I'm so proud of you. Camille isn't working alone. She's the face, but not the hand. The real name is Michael Drayton, CEO of Vexton. He buried clinical trial data that showed fatalities. Camille helped scrub it. I found the emails. They're on the USB, but it's not safe to go to the police. Not yet. Go to the journalist. You know who. Use the words, Project Callisto. That's the key. Maya read the name at the bottom, her own signature, and felt something shift in her spine. Strength, she turned to Noah. We're going public. By noon, they were sitting across from Ava Chen, an investigative journalist known for taking down corporate giants. The USB, the journal, the memories, all laid out across her desk. When Maya whispered the phrase Project Callisto, Ava's eyes narrowed like a sniper locking in. I've heard rumors, Ava said, but no one's ever had proof. Until now, the story went live 2 weeks later. Whistleblower surfaces in Vexton biotech scandal, fatal drug trials, executive cover-up exposed. Maya watched from her apartment. Surrounded by half-empty boxes, she was moving again, not because she was running, but because she was finally choosing her next chapter. The fallout was instant. Camille Breyer was arrested. Michael Drayton stepped down and faced criminal charges. Multiple victims' families came forward, holding photos and fury. Class action suits followed. And Maya Carter, the name she once doubted was hers, became a symbol of resilience, of truth, of a woman who lost everything and still fought. Noah visited her a week later, holding takeout and a crooked smile. You know, he said, you could have taken the hush money, walked away. Maya looked at him and shook her head. If I had, she said, then they would have won. He smiled. You remembered who you were? She nodded slowly. I remembered what I stand for. Later that night, Maya sat alone by the window, the city glowing outside. She opened her laptop, clicked New Document, and titled it, What I Forgot and What I Chose to Remember. It was time to write her story. Not the one someone else tried to erase, but the one she reclaimed piece by piece, scar by scar. Because sometimes survival isn't just waking up. It's choosing to fight and to never forget again.